For the past several weeks, I've been working on a video about education, specifically how the United States education system is broken and how we can fix it. However, today is World Teacher Day 2020, and because of that, I want to take a small section of that video and just talk about it here. I want to talk about teachers and why in the United States we actually should pay our teachers more. Now, before you jump on me and say that means we're going to pay more taxes and all of this, that's not necessarily the case. Just hear me out and I'll make my case. Now, as I said, this is a small section of a larger video. If you want the actual larger video where I talk about the education system more generally, then make sure you subscribe and watch out for it in the next few weeks. Specifically though, if we're looking at teachers, one of the common points you hear in the United States is that teachers are underpaid. And that is something that is both accurate, but also not entirely true, which is somewhat confusing. Let me show you what I mean. For example, if we compare the teacher salary in the United States to the other countries in the world, we see that whether we're talking about elementary school teachers or high school teachers, in the United States, they're consistently ranked in the top 10 for salary. So the United States is doing fairly well if you look at the median income of teachers compared to other countries. The problem arises is when you compare the median income of teachers to other people who have the same level of education. What you see when you do that is that teachers' salaries in the United States relative to other bachelor degree earners is something like 67%, which is 13% lower than the OECD average and significantly lower than countries like France and Denmark. Essentially what this means is that a teacher who gets a bachelor's degree is going to earn 67% less if they're working as a teacher than in a more general field doing something else. Now, obviously this is not always the case, this is a median, but it does highlight one of the key issues we have in the United States when it comes to education. Teachers are underpaid with respect to other careers, and so that means that someone who might be a really good teacher is going to do something else if they're that concerned about the income, which isn't a bad thing. Worrying that you have enough money to support you and your family is not a negative thing at all. For example, when I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a teacher, and I had a really good math teacher who kind of inspired me. But when I talked to her about it, she suggested that instead of majoring in education, I actually major in math. And that's because with a more general math degree, I could be a teacher if I wanted to, but my options were also open to look at other things. I think I would enjoy teaching, but one of the main reasons I chose not to go into teaching was because of the salary. And I know I'm not the only one who's done this. I'm sure there are plenty of people who would be excellent teachers, but they decided to do something else because it doesn't pay all that well, and in some cases, they are overworked. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said it was entirely possible to increase teacher salary without actually increasing taxes or how much we have to pay to education. And the reason I think this is true is because, once again, if you compare us to the other OECD countries, which are the countries highlighted here, if you look at how much we spend per student on education, the United States is almost at the very top. We spend significantly more on education than many of these other countries that have better educational outcomes than we do. So I think it's entirely possible to simply relocate our funds rather than actually have to spend more if we want to increase teacher salary. Now, if that's something you're interested in, if you want to know how we can fix the education system, how we can spend even less money but have a better system overall, then make sure you watch out for my video about this topic coming in the next few weeks. It's going to be more in depth. I'll highlight why exactly we do have issues and what we can do to fix that. But first and foremost, especially on World Teacher Day, I do think we should recognize that teachers are a very important part of the education system. In many cases, they're overworked, they are underpaid, again, with respect to other careers they could have gone into, and if we want to have the best quality teachers, that needs to be a more competitive job. Be sure to subscribe if you want that video, and I'll see you next time.